What up, Zebec Nation? This is your boy 314 Crypto, and I'm about to drop some alpha for you. But first, if you're a newcomer, please subscribe to our Zebec Nation podcast, where we talk about all things Zebec, any crypto news, as well as anything market related that you guys want to talk about. But first and foremost, let's get into it. So, the topic that I want to talk about is the London Stock Exchange. We talked about this a little bit in our previous podcast with Mr. Foresight, Mr. AKA Mr. Grow Rich and Grow Happy. So if you guys haven't seen that video, watch it, but also go ahead and subscribe to his YouTube channel. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about this a little bit because I think that this is something that is going to happen. So let's go. I'm going to show you all the pieces, how it all connects. So first and foremost, if you're not familiar with the London Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange is one of the largest stock exchanges in the world, as well as one of the oldest stock exchanges in the world. Hence, the name is in London. And whenever you start to look at Zebec Network, you'll realize that Zebec has headquarters in London already. So just going to the site of Zebec's website, of course, San Francisco, London, and New York. Now, London is a staple to Zebec and where it really wants to position itself as far as the global adoption. When you talk about innovation, Web3, money movement, these three places that you see on the screen, man, is just undoubtedly just the best places you'd want to insert yourselves. But nonetheless, what about the London Stock Exchange? So the London Stock Exchange in January launched a blockchain-based digital settlement network for 24/7 instant settlement. This system builds and works on the Canton network. So I've seen so many videos, so many influencers and people comment and say, man, where did the Canton network come from? Now, Canton network has been behind the shadows, just building and working, and it's very strategic. Now, people are probably asking, okay, well, how is Zebec related to any of this? So first and foremost, if you're a Zebec holder or if you're familiar with Zebec Network, then you know that Zebec had just made its entry in the Canton Network by partnering with Lattice Finance, the first neobank, and then also issues the first MasterCard debit card on Canton Network. So if there's anybody in Canton Network that needs or wants a MasterCard debit card for everyday expenses, turning their assets into fiat, being able to use it in real time, yeah, you're going to be able to use that debit card. Now, what's really cool and interesting here is Zebec hinted at something deeper with Canton Network. And this is why I'm making this video, because I believe it's with the London Stock Exchange Group within Canton Network. So it's going to be one big happy partnership. So going along, how do we get here? So with Zebec, you know that London, of course, is a big staple of what it is that they want to do. Last year, it was a big compliance run to go ahead for the institutional partnerships for 2026. But here, man, it just wasn't about the US and the Genius Act. What Simon and what the team did here at the House of Lords is they were really trying to, talk to a lot of these officials, these regulators about compliance and just a framework to try to get some of this innovation going, and they also partnered or acquired GateKnox, a leading compliance and digital identity platform, advancing Zebec's mission to be a fully compliant Web3 infrastructure provider. So what's really cool about this is to become a global powerhouse, you really have to do these things and become a leader. There's no way that you could just hope to be, the global stablecoin payroll partner of this company or that company if you're not going behind closed doors and really trying to push legislation and push for change and things to, of course, come about. But nonetheless, GateKnox helped us issue all of our compliances except, as you can see here, FCA. Now we have our SOC 2, our MICA, our ISO compliance, but we're still missing out on FCA compliance. So when you think about the FCA compliance, that is us being able to move money around in the UK. This is something that Zebec said that they were going to have done on their roadmap by October of last year. Now, obviously, things were delayed, the super app were delayed, but I think it's more strategic than that. So going on along, I'll go ahead and show you guys a few more things. So getting into our London Stock Exchange ties, we had some new hires, some new people on our team last year that kind of went under the table. So the guy to the left, I'm not going to talk about too much, although he is very pivotal, of course, moving forward. But I really want to highlight this guy to the right, Stelios Giannakis, Senior Project Manager. Look at his previous experiences: London Stock Exchange Group, Royal Bank of Scotland, and Expedia. So already there, we have a direct tie to the London Stock Exchange Group. And whenever you look into the Royal Bank of Scotland, the Royal Bank of Scotland is now named NatWest. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about that later. But just to get a little bit more information with Stelios, who also helps with our super app, look at his LinkedIn page. So Stelios' LinkedIn page is kind of self-explanatory here. It directly mentions the London Stock Exchange Group. And then when you go down to his experience, October 2023, present 2 years, 6 months, as if he's still active with the team, which is, not going to lie, conflict of interest, but it's not really a conflict. I mean, this is just good stuff right here. But nonetheless, moving on along, what people don't know is the London Stock Exchange Group uses ADP for payroll. So I'll go ahead and show you guys some real quick.
My name is Charlotte O'Driscoll and I work for London Stock Exchange Group, or LSEG because it's been rebranded. I am the head of global payroll and employment tax. The London Stock Exchange Group has 26,000 employees across 65 countries. I think people would be surprised that we operate in 65 countries. People think of the London Stock Exchange as just being London and only about the stock exchange, but it's actually only 13% of the revenue that's generated. So we don't have one solution that we would use. We might use a combination of ADP products so that we have the right fit for our organisation. Typically, payroll's underinvested until there's a problem, and then it becomes very easy to get a business case approved if you are tackling a live problem and eliminating a pain point. I think it's going to become more and more important, particularly around as compliance gets more complex in different geographies. There's an expectation that you can't just ignore something until it fails. You have to actively show that you're managing the compliance and legislation around payroll. But also data in payroll is really valuable to the business in terms of where our spend is, how it's allocated across different countries.
Nonetheless, that's all the information you guys needed to know. But in case this video specifically didn't tell you things that you needed to know, I just went ahead and did a Google search just to show you. If the London Stock Exchange uses ADP, yes, the London Stock Exchange uses ADP for its global payroll services. Now look at this, you guys. LSEG, London Stock Exchange Group, uses ADP to manage complex payroll, tax compliance, and legislation changes from different countries with specific mention of high complexity regions like Germany and France. You guys think about this for a second. What's in Germany? Deutsche Bank. Now look at this. Deutsche Bank's all Unity stablecoin selects Zebec as its global payroll partner. I'm sure you guys already know about this already. But if you guys just wasn't aware, where is Deutsche Bank? Germany, ADP, right? Already know where I'm going with this. We have previous ADP workers on our advisor team. I'm taking my time with this one. Lisa Robbins, George Stocker, a few other guys like Tom Lutz. Come on now. So think about this for a second, you guys. If the London Stock Exchange uses ADP, but it's moving to more a blockchain-based 24/7 settlement, where else would they go for stablecoin payroll partner if they're going blockchain to settle all of this? It's Zebec Network. We're the only crypto payroll company in the Nacha Alliance. And guess what? We withhold taxes just like ADP does. And we are looking to do global payroll. And we're already entered in the Canton network already. We're in London. We're waiting for a FCA, man. Look, it gets a little bit deeper. So we are talking about Deutsche Bank in Germany. Well, guess what? What else was in Germany? Cybos. Cybos was in Germany last year. And guess who was there? I'm just about to start scrolling for you guys. So obviously, Deutsche Bank, Stellar. There was videos with Simon talking to both of the gentlemen there. It's a lot of heavy hitters here, man. Stuff that came about at this particular place. As you can see, DTCC was here. But hey, man, look, this is what I'm trying to show you. London Stock Exchange was at Cybos. Now, what does this mean? All of these people coming to this big event aren't here just for, yeah, we're just hanging out. Yeah, no, this is all strategic. All these people that went to this particular conference, they all shook hands. They were all in the same room. And Simon specifically said that after Cybos, he was going to follow up with a lot of the people and companies that he had dealt with. So now you're seeing a lot of these conferences and these handshakes and these meetings to start come about with partnerships now, but it takes a little bit of time. This just doesn't come out of nowhere. But nonetheless, look, Nadine Shakar is kind of like the head of the DTCC, was at Cybos, and they talked about tokenizing their assets, and they chose Canton Network. So this is the actual article itself that came about with the DTCC. The DTCC digital asset partner to tokenize DTC custody U.S. Treasury securities on the Canton network, which is just crazy, right? So, anyways, the DTCC was talking about tokenizing assets on Canton network, but even before then, there was way more conversations between Canton and Zebec. And just to tie this all together, I think you guys saw just by my recent scrolls, but last year, Zebec went to another conference. This is Blockworth's Digital Asset Summit in London. The UK is having its fintech moment with collaboration between innovators, institutions, and regulators shaping the future of digital assets and Web3 across the EU, right? So nobody saw this. This is before a Canton network partnership was done. Now look at this. After Blockworth, Das, London, we took the conversations off the stage and onto the themes, just builders, institutions, and ideas flowing together.
Come with me to Canton on the Thames. Let's go.
Canton is like bridging TradFi and DeFi, so I feel like they're creating a new Wall Street that's actually on-chain.
I think privacy should be a right. Nowadays it's a privilege, and it's leveraged by the biggest institutions in the world.
Privacy is essential for institutions to get involved in the crypto digital space.
What Canton's going to do is going to make a major difference to how the world actually operates. It's going to actually change the way the world works from a finance perspective.
So basically, as you can see, Zebec was in the same room at Canton Network. Obviously, conversations were had between them. You saw kind of the list of names of people that was there, one of them being Archax. Archax is actually one of the companies that helped us with our MiCA compliance. And they're actually one of the first FCA digital asset regulated companies or exchanges in the UK. So if we're partnered with them and have close ties to them, then I know our FCA compliance is done. It's just waiting for an announcement. So you guys saw how I put together the 24/7 settlement was announced in January. Now, what happened in January in terms of the conference? I'll show you guys. Davos. Davos, Zebec was there from January 19 to 21. We'll be at the WEF engaging with leaders on how crypto power payments are shaping the future of global finance. You want to know who else was there? The London Stock Exchange was there. You want to see? So this is the CEO of the London Stock Exchange, David Schwimmer. So I'll go ahead and play this video really quick. As you can see right here, just to kind of show you guys, I'm not Cat, Davos 2026 World Economic Forum.
So the geopolitics have been pretty extraordinary over the beginning of this year. I think the markets are unsure how to react. And we've seen No trading day in the U.S. yesterday, which is particularly interesting. We've seen a little bit of weakness in treasuries, a little bit of weakness in the dollar, which is frankly, in normal times of geopolitical uncertainty, unusual. When you have geopolitical uncertainty, usually there's a flight to safety, and the dollar strengthens and treasuries strengthen. So this does appear to be an unusual shift in the paradigm. We saw similar last April around Liberation Day. So we'll see how it plays out. Last week the news was very different. The week before that, the news was very different. So we'll see. Is this a 1 week event, or is this a much more significant transformation?
Basically, all I'm trying to get at here is these people are in the same rooms. They're all eating at the same table. Zebec is not in these rooms by coincidence. They have super strong London ties. The London Stock Exchange just so happened to be at all of these events. They're moving to 24/7 settlement. If ADP cannot issue multi-country payroll for them, they have to move on to someone else that could do it on the blockchain level. And they actually partner with Canton Network through the entry of Lattice Finance. So it makes all the sense that Zebec is going to be partnering with the London Stock Exchange. And when they do that, man, just hold your bags tight. The last thing that I'll show you guys is Lightspeed. Now, Lightspeed is an investor into Zebec Network, but I want to show you guys this if you haven't seen it. So programmable money and why they invested in Zebec's real-time money flow. So right here, I just want to scroll down. And this is exactly why. If ADP can't do it, Zebec could do it. What makes Zebec Pay unique from other streaming pay work providers like Gusto or Zoom is that it automatically withholds state and federal taxes, just like as legacy payroll providers like ADP or TriNet do. And now, obviously, you can keep going on and on. Funding ROA and 401 accounts, 401k accounts. Dude, this is light speed. It doesn't get more bullish than this, you guys. In moments like this where it's fear and uncertainty, you need to do these deep dives so that you can show people that this happening. And when it happens, the cryptos that you hold are going to take off. Look at this. Solana Ventures, Coinbase Ventures, Circle Ventures, Lightspeed, DST Global. I don't even want to get into the Stripes, the PayPals, and how all of this ties in together. But if you're holding Zebec, best believe, not only are we getting the London Stock Exchange, but we're coming for everything. And with that being said, 314, we out.
Turn it up. Zebec Nation.
Zebec Nation, tap in, lock in, I'm on deck.